As you know, under the No Child Left Behind, the schools, if they're going to get the federal money, have to allow recruiters to come onto campus.
Okay.
And there's a provision for parents to opt out.
Right.
But that has, around the country, that's become very difficult to do in some school districts.
Wow.
There are cases where the students are discouraged.
From opting out?
Opting out through various methods. And this is something that the ACLU will react to if we become aware of a school board that is not following what the provisions of the law are.
The ACLU isn't happy either. They say the current policy violates someone's First Amendment rights.
It's really like having somebody in the library who's telling you that you can't look at a particular book because it makes them uncomfortable.
The, quote, welcoming and comfortable, unquote, language in the current policy infringes on the public's right to access constitutionally protected material and should be removed. No one who has spoken or written in support of amending the current language has advocated for or supports access to child pornography or materials that represent obscenity. We seek a policy that respects every individual's right to enjoy the services provided by the library without being subjected to the bias and censorship of any patron or library staff member who may personally disagree with what we choose to read or view. It is the responsibility of this board to ensure that the constitutional rights of all patrons are upheld.
The ACLU says Rieger is right. The median should be fair game to the public.
Just because they don't want it doesn't mean the public doesn't have a right to use a traditional, a clear, and undisputed public forum.
The areas that get the most speech protection for these type of public issues are streets, sidewalks, and parks. And as the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals found in the case that I cited in this letter, what are the grassy medians but a combination of streets, parks, and sidewalks? And all the circuit courts that have looked at this type of area, these types of grassy medians at a government seat, have found that only the reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions can be applied.
This is a public forum.
The ACLU got involved after the permit was denied, saying this is a space, a perfect place for freedom of expression.
I think it's a victory for the average guy in the street. It's a victory for the troops that are in Iraq right now, for the people who have died, for their families, just because this is simply a display that's going to honor them, that's going to commemorate their sacrifice, their loss.
So Deborah will start placing the flags here Saturday, and it will be ready Monday for everyone to see.
You would be getting into a job which no democratic society can have, which is prior restraint of speech. Either that or some people would get arrested or cited or whatever it is. I guess it would be a citation. And other people wouldn't, and then you'd have selective prosecution of people. Those people would, of course, end up suing the county. There's simply no way you can have a wholesale ban on the distribution of literature in every single county building. There may be some county buildings where you could have such a prohibition. That's possible if it's needed, although it's my bet that any building where you could have such a ban, you don't need it because no one's ever interested in distributing anything there. So here, which is a building where things are frequently distributed, in the lobby and in the foyer and in this room and in other rooms, you can't have this blanket ban. First of all, no one has so far stated any reason to have the law. None. So I've heard no reason whatsoever for it.
Is there any reason to be surprised that racial profiling goes on not only with the Sacramento Police Department, but with other law enforcement units across the country? Were you at all surprised?
No, this report is not at all surprising. As a matter of fact, it reflects a report that was done back in 2002. Only difference is that the numbers are higher.
So what happened in 2002? I believe you and an advisory committee gave some recommendations to the police department. And what happened to those recommendations? Why are we visiting this same topic again?
Well, basically what happened with those recommendations is they were just kind of just tabled by and overlooked by the city council and explained away. The racial profiling facts were explained away by the police, and basically nothing was done. They made the citizens, the advisory committee, into the racial profiling commission, and that's about all that happened. And so it's, you know, it's continued on, and I guess now we're once again revisiting an old story.
What would you like the police to do now?
Well, right now what we want them to do is to really step up to the plate and enact this community policing and really sit down with the community and work out some policy changes, and that we want to see that those policy changes that we work out stick, and that
what kind of policy change are you talking about?
Well, they're basically policy in the training that they received to make them more community-minded in terms of how they deal with, and also getting the attitude into our officers that they are public servants and not our overseers.